because it's been a while since we've obviously been to this track. What can we expect, Laurence, and who do you feel like it favors, maybe other than Max?
Yeah, I think you can expect one of the best tracks in Formula One to watch a racing car. Now, I know we said that about Spa, we said it about Monza, and we didn't get the most exciting races. So there does seem to be this trend now that these cars are actually much better at kind of different types of tracks, and they've kind of evolved away from some of these racetracks. But still, seeing a car go around Suzuka, the first sector, the S's, Lewis Hamilton was talking about it today in his press conference as well, and just how it's one of his favourite places, and also that there's always either a headwind or a tailwind. And because these cars are so aerosensitive, they're so reliant on their aerodynamics to keep them stuck to the track, that makes a big difference to how you drive it and how much fun it is for him. He likes the headwind because that gives you extra downforce through the sweeping corners. And so, yeah, in terms of a place to go and watch Formula One cars, it's one of the best. And like I said earlier, you know, these tiny little runoff areas, the smallest mistake, and they can be in the gravel, they can be in the grass, and sometimes, you know, quite often they'll be in the barriers as well. So it really does punish mistakes, which as long as everyone stays safe, that's a good thing, I think, in Formula One, because you don't want these big runoff areas where you make a mistake and you don't get punished. So it's a great race. Drivers absolutely love it, and it kind of just creates this huge atmosphere around it, which is multiplied several times by the fans who, you know, we say this a lot, best fans in F1 and all this kind of stuff, but the Japanese fans are really in a league of their own. You know, they create homemade hats and helmets and backpacks and stuff with miniature F1 cars on. I saw some fans who managed to get themselves into the paddock today, and they were all wearing these little kind of hard hat helmets with the T-cam, you know, like you see the little T-cam on top of an F1 car, which gives you the onboard footage. They had those on top, homemade, and then they had their own little pit boards, and one said Max Verstappen 2022 world champion, so we know who they're supporting. But there's also these 3 or 4 famous guys, I think there's 3 of them, who have been to races over years and years and years at Suzuka. And when the DRS came into F1, which is the flap in the rear wing that opens up to help overtaking, they decided to create these helmets with a rear wing on top and then a little pulley so that they could operate their DRS as they walked around the track. And I try and go and find them in the fan zone, because they don't really speak much English. I speak 0 Japanese, but they're always a good laugh, and we always kind of have a chat, and they do the DRS thing and you try it on and you get a photo. It's great. It's great. And they update it every year, so it's not like the original one. They update the liveries on all this kind of stuff. So a magical place, absolutely love it. And yeah, even if the race isn't quite, you know, as good as it could be, because it's so hard to overtake around such a tight and fast track, it's still a special place to come.
And it's nice as well to be talking about, even though it is, you know, 4 races left after this one. For me, growing up, and it might have been the same for Laurence, in the UK, Japan always felt like a title deciding venue, because it was always right. It was either penultimate race, you know, sometimes I think it was always usually penultimate race, but usually there was a championship on the line when you went there. And I mean, American fans will know all about this, but Japan, the great thing in the UK with it was you'd have to wake up super early. And I remember as a kid waking up super early to watch Damon Hill win in 96. 96, and then in 97 Villeneuve beat Schumacher. And then as a huge Ferrari fan, I remember waking up in 2000 when Schumacher won the drivers' championship, you know, ended Ferrari's wait for it. So it has that kind of special connotation for a lot of fans. And because it's over the years, it's kind of shifted further and further away from being the final race. You don't usually come to Japan now and think, oh, there's a championship on the line. So even though it might not be as dramatic as in some of those years, for me, the nostalgia in my head is like, yeah, if the championship's decided here, even if it means we got 4 dead rubbers at the end of the year, it kind of at least kind of harks back to the old days.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.